Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. That's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington, and Happiness Specialist and Inner Peace Practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Yes, it's the same person. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the show. Thank you for listening to the show. I talk about how the show is going global every week. I have new emails from all over the country and a few people all over the world. I want to just say thank you for sharing. I really do appreciate it. You know, the reason why I started these radio shows, it's 11 years ago, is because I couldn't put two words together. But the real reason, let me just start from the very beginning. When I was younger, I wanted two things. I wanted to live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. I wanted to live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. And this search for happiness has been decades and decades and decades of searching and looking and finding and not finding. And I'm here to share with you what I've learned about the truth about happiness, the not only the truth about happiness, but the importance of happiness. One of the things that I like to share on the show is that when you label something serious and or important, that subtracts from your happiness. That includes thinking happiness is serious or happiness is important. And let me just share really quickly why. When I was, 20 years ago, still searching for answers, looking for answers. It's a lifelong quest. 20 years ago, I used to believe, a well-rooted belief that if you didn't think happiness was number one, if you didn't think happiness was important, if you didn't think happiness was a priority, then something was wrong with you. And even letting that go, talking about me, having to let that go. Because one of the things, and I'm going to get to the topic, you know how we always get to the topic a little bit later than usual. One of the things, the behaviors that subtracts from happiness is having a cause. And we're going to talk about having a cause, and we're going to talk about joining clubs, joining fan clubs, but with a twist. So before I go on, let me give a proper introduction. When I say I used to think 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that happiness was number one priority, letting go of that attachment, letting go of that belief, letting go of thinking that was true for everyone was not easy to let go of. It was not easy for me to let go. What could be more important? What could be more on your priority list than wanting to feel and experience peace in every moment? I couldn't think of anyone. I couldn't think of anything else. But the truth is to really and when I say happiness is a practice skill, let me start again. When I say happiness is a practice skill, it is a practice. And let me just share my definition of happiness before I get onto today's topic. My definition because sometimes I forget I do have new listeners. The definition of happiness, my definition of happiness, is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. Happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is a state in mind. Happiness is a vibration. It's an energy. It's a personal energy. Happiness becomes a foundation when you're practicing, when you prioritize it, when you make a commitment. It becomes your foundation. And with practice and more practice, and it is work and practice, and repeat, more work and more practice. When I say that it is an endless practice, it is. There are no breaks. There are no vacations. There's no time off. It is an endless practice. And the only person that can do the work, the only person that has the power to do the work, even has for the results, to obtain the results, it has to be you. It's only you. It's only the person in the mirror. That's the empowering part. So you know that the results, whatever results you're going to get, and that's with anything in life, whatever results you're going to get depends on the focus, depends on your focus, depends on what you're practicing. So again, just to give a brief introduction, hello new people, hello new listeners. I like to use the analogy just standing in the middle of a rowboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and you're in the middle of a storm. Waves are crashing. The tsunami is tsunamiing. The wind, the cold, the rain. But you're standing in that rowboat, and you are at peace with all of it. You are at peace with the weather. You are at peace with the rocking rowboat. You are at peace with the wind. You are at peace with all of it. You feel the peace. You are the peace. That's what I'm talking about when I say happiness is a practice skill. And it does depend on what you're practicing in a single moment, in every single moment of the day. Endless. It's an endless practice. When I say happiness is a practice skill, the better the results, the more you practice. And before I go on, I want to share it's a very famous study done by a hospice nurse. Her name is Bronnie Ware, Bronnie. And I like sharing this because I think it's a really powerful study. And you can Google it, Bronnie Ware, and it's called. Her study was all of her patients were all terminally ill, and she asked them the same questions. Now these are people that, for lack of another way, they've received their death sentence. Their death sentence is either in a week, in a month, 6 months if they're fortunate. And she asked her patients the same question: What are your biggest regrets? Can you imagine asking someone that's dying that question, and how powerful? I don't know. For me, that's a powerful question. I'm on the edge of my seat, waiting to hear the answer, waiting to hear what people that are going to breathe that know without a shadow of a doubt that they are on their last journey, on their last road. What are your 5 most regrets? Isn't that a I don't know. I think that's one of the most powerful questions. And what are the answers? What were the answers that they gave? Well, she said that she was getting these 5 reoccurring answers, and they were the same answers, and they kept coming up, the same answers, and so that's what she wrote about, and it's called the study. The article is called "The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying," and the 5 most common regrets of the dying. Can you think of any? The 5 most common regrets of the dying. Number 1, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. Number 2, I wish I didn't work so hard. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. Are you noticing a theme about all of these answers? All of the answers, the person has the power to change them themselves. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And I like to share that, you know, letting go of friendships just because you've known somebody for years and years and years and years doesn't mean that you haven't or can't outgrow them. So sometimes letting go of friends is especially when you've outgrown them, is part of the journey. And the last one, the last 5 most common regrets of the dying is I wish I would have let myself be happier. I wish I would have let myself be happier. So that's one of the reasons why I bring that up. I think it's a powerful study. So here we go. When I talk about happiness, I'm asking you, because you're the only ones that knows the answers to this, my dear audience, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? And again, I'm saying that happiness is a vibration. Happiness is an energy. Happiness is a state of being. It is a vibration. It's how do you vibrate? So it's what is your set temperature? I like to compare it to a temperature gauge. What is your set temperature gauge? And here we go to today's topic. A fan club. You know, if you've listened to the show, you know one of the things that I talk about is having a cause subtracts from your happiness. Having a cause, and the reason why, now listen, I'm not talking about having a cause and because plenty of people have a cause and they feel like they're in service and they feel like they're serving the world, and I totally understand that. My point is having a cause and wanting someone else to think your cause is as important as you think the cause is the thing that subtracts from happiness. Let me just say that again. Wanting someone else to think what you think is important is important. That's where the cause subtracts from your peace. When you want someone else to think what you think is important is important. So that's when I say having a cause subtracts from peace, because you can have a cause and you can do all the work and devote your time and focus and all of it, contribute however way you want. But when you start wanting other people to think what you think is important, that's where you get tripped up. That's where the rub starts. So let me talk about having a cause. Here we go. Now, scratch that, having a cause. A fan club. That's the topic, not a cause, a fan club. Woo! Boy, I can get turned around in a second. What kind of fan club would you find interesting? What kind of fan club would you think you could devote the rest of your life to? The rest of your time, the rest of your focus? What type of fan club could intrigue you could capture you and whisk you up and interest you until you breathe your last breath? Can anyone give me, I don't know, your top 3 interests that you would want to? Yes, I want to be a member of that club. Yes, I want to join that club. Yes, I'm interested in that club. And yes, I'm interested in that club until the end. Can any of you think about, and I have a few people in the queue if you want to ask me a question, all you do is press the number 1. I have a few people, and the number to call in is area code 646-564-9619. Again, call in area code 646-564-9619 to ask your question. Fan club. How many of you, raise your hand, and I talk about it at the end of every show. I talk about it and I mention it. That's a hint. That's a hint for you. And it's about remembering who you are. And that's another hint. You are a physical extension of the universe. You are a physical extension. The universe is experiencing this life through you. Now, I use the term universe. Some people use the term spirit, God, higher power, energy source. It doesn't matter. Words, labels, if you listen to this show, you know that are interchangeable. And in fact, letting go of that power that words have, that we were programmed to believe that words have, will also bring about a lot more peace. Letting go of the illusion, thinking that words have power. I know. I get a lot of mail. I get it. But can you imagine? Not letting words affect you in any way, not making you feel good, not making you feel bad, not making you feel any way at all? Let me get back to the topic, being in a fan club. What fan club do any of you have a guess as to which fan club I'm promoting? I'll give you another hint. When I talk about the solution to all of your challenges, the solution to all of your, the answers to all of your challenges, your problems for the rest of your life, where can that be found? Where are the answers found? They're found in the mirror. You, universe, they're found in the mirror. The fan club is a fan club of you. How big of a fan are you to you? Are you your biggest fan? That's a question. Are you your biggest fan? The reason why, well, scratch the reason why, because that turns into a story. Asking and monitoring what type of commitment and what type of fan are you. Let me just, football Sunday, fair weather fans that are there throughout the entire season, the other seasons, fans that have season tickets for the same team. There's some fans that have season tickets for 20, 30 years. They pass it down with their families. So the fan club I'm talking about is a personal fan club. It's a fan club. It's your fan club. It's how big of a fan are you of you? And let me really break that down. Last week I talked about looking for what's wrong, or finding what's wrong, or focusing on what's wrong. And I'm going to throw that into this fan club, because I don't know about you, but I was brought up in a way where the compliments we got in that house were all criticisms. Criticisms and compliments, the same. In fact, the compliments were very rare and far between, just like a holiday. But the criticisms, from the way your hair is combed, to the way that you eat, to the way that you speak, to the way that you walk, to the way that you sit up, to the way that you think, to what you believe, always some type of criticism. So guess what? Coming out of that household, no pointing the fingers, no blame. This is just all description. I could criticize myself so good. Oh, my goodness, I could win awards for criticizing myself. Awards, Emmys, Tonys, Super Bowl trophies, basketball champions. I would win. I was the best at it. I was the cruelest to myself. Can anyone out there relate? The cruelest, the meanest, the least compassionate to self. So this is a plea, a cry, a march to slowly include in your daily routine, morning, afternoon, and evening, being a fan of yourself. And it's going to be a practice like anything else. Practicing being a fan of self. Practicing to the point, because I remember a time when if I received a compliment, I was uncomfortable with receiving a compliment. Uncomfortable, not easy, not really ready to receive a compliment. No, that's what I'm talking about, being at ease with self, being okay, and being okay with all of it. The fan club, there are no rules, there are no exceptions. The fan club is being a fan club of all of it. And I'm just going to throw out labels, the good, the bad, the light, the dark, the easy, the hard, all of it. Being a fan of self, being your own best friend, being patient with self, monitoring, paying attention, and also if you feel inspired, making notes, journaling. My son was talking about having a journal about miracles every day, writing down miracles every day. How about journaling every day? Something good that you've noticed. Scratch the good. Something that you're, wow, look what I can do, or look what I did, or look what I chose. Look how I chose my behavior or my reaction or my response. Being a fan club, being in your own fan club, and this is permanent. This is a permanent membership. You can't get out of this club. You cannot leave, ever. But that's the good news. That's the really good news. Because guess who else is in that fan club? Guess who else is in that club with you? Guess who else is in that club, holding hands, connecting, being right there next to you, all wrapped up in it with you? You're not in the fan club by yourself. You're not in the club by yourself. And I know that it's so interesting how people, especially the mind, the ego, wants numbers. How many people are listening? How many likes? How many engagements? I get it. I totally get it. But the universe wants you to get this. And this is a tricky one. The universe is all you need. Is all you need, especially when going through times of challenge. And we all do. This is an up and down roller coaster kind of ride. You know it. I know it. I don't get an easier ride. I do not get an easier ride. This is an up and down kind of whirlwind of a journey. I'm up here thinking, hey, when is it going to get easier? Hey, when am I going to be able to put this on neutral and just coast through it? Well, hasn't happened yet. And that is the discovery that all of it works together, the discovery that all of it, the turmoil, the storms, the turbulence, and the peace and the calm, all of it joins together and works and makes and creates what we call this thing life. It's not I remember used to wanting to avoid that down the roller coaster, arms up, stomach feeling queasy. Oh, I don't want to experience that. But when you really get down to it and you are in your own fan club and you have the monitoring self and the taking notes and the discovery and the curiosity of, I wonder what would happen. I wonder how I would feel. I wonder what the energy would be like. I asked myself that question over a decade ago. I wonder how it would feel not to be irritated, not to get annoyed, not to be irritated. Well, I'm not saying, don't tell anybody, I'm not saying that I'm not irritated a lot, but I'll tell you this, it sure has made a significant drop. Meaning whatever you ask the universe for, how can I? Universe, how can I? Guess what? You get a response. You get an answer. Hold on a second. Let me see a few people. Hold on here. Area code 919. First name. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. What's your first name?
Hello, Rebecca. It's Robert. Happy New Year to you.
Hi, Robert. Happy New Year. You know, I know the number, but then I forget the number. Then I know the number. It looks familiar. I forget the number. Then 9, and I got another 9. But anyway, hi, Robert Sharp. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for calling in. What is your comment or question or contribution? All of it.
What I was going to say, when you were talking about fan club and being a member of one's own fan club, I just wanted to kind of make sure that that is just our fan club, but we can also be members of other fan clubs like the Rebecca Norrington fan club. You start with one, but you add more. But what I like about what you're saying is that you're really asking people to recognize what they like about themselves, and and give it its place. So I think that's a good thing.
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up. And yes, you're right. However, it is. I always say this is my perspective, and you jump in with what you think. Before I can offer any insight or be an example to anyone else, and not that I have all the answers, but to be an example of the practice, I walk it and have to practice, and it's just like they give you the I don't know why I'm stumbling over words, but they give you the example when you're on a plane. Put the mask over yourself,
right,
over your nose first. And so when you're talking about fan club, I definitely agree. Yes, you can join other people's fan club, join other clubs, but also know that number one, take care, number one first, self-care first. And then, in other words, I think the more that I grow, the more I expand, the more I can be of service.
Right. Oh, I agree 100%. And what my thought is that sometimes people can have difficulty in seeing, what their, why they should be a fan club to begin with, and if someone is having difficulty with that by, not necessarily literally joining a fan club, but, if there was a fan club for so-and-so, you would join it, hypothetically because, and then fill in that blank. And then take what that attribute is and empower it, bring it home, kind of bring it in and recognize that is something, that you want to internalize. Does that make sense? I mean, it can kind of bring clarity where maybe before there was none.
You mean with someone else?
Right.
Or self.
That again.
Yeah.
Again, if you're having problems thinking why would there be a Robert fan club, then I would look around or basically do the search and if I were to join a fan club, who would it be and then why, and then come back that is something that I am, or this is something that I admire in myself.
So what you're saying is just so I can be clear is because I remember having a time in my life where I didn't member of my fan club. I wouldn't be a member in my fan club. So I totally understand. Yeah, where is it? What's there to be? Well, yeah, what's there to stand and applaud about? And that's the interesting thing about that is. It is what I want to share. It is really about having patience, having time, and having trust, and developing a relationship with, and I say a relationship with an active, ongoing, speaking, talking, engaging relationship with God or the universe. And the other thing I want to say especially about other people's fan club, and the only reason why I want to give a caution and or I'm not even going to say warning sign, even though I just said warning. I had to throw that out there just for the drama. A caution is that people, I don't care if they're your twin sister, identical twin sister. You never know what's going to happen with somebody in a moment. They can change. The environment can change. They can be here today. They can be gone tomorrow. So the real solid, the relationship developing with the universe takes on that burden. Scratch the burden. Takes on that position of main relationship, and so you can sink your teeth and you can dig your nails into it for having, I want to say, being solid and being sure, because and I get being a fan of other people, but I'm just also saying the number one.
Right.
The number one is
yeah.
Go ahead.
And what I'm saying is that that you strengthen that number one, by adding parameters, adding examples of values in action kind of thing. So I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not suggesting that. I'm always suggesting that your fan, you should be your number one fan, like you said, period, number one, flat out, and then from that point on, when you have like other, fans, and like you say, people change. But what is important is in that moment of whatever happens, where there is an admiration or a resonance with kind of what happened. That is, that's just it's a moment in time, and you can separate it from the person, the people, all the people involved. It's that recognition, at that particular moment in time, which is what is important. So.
Now let me hit you with this one. First of all, you always get my juices going. I'm always so. Here's a real tough one, and this is something that that I am currently practicing and never really wanted to, didn't like it, don't like it, but it's a necessary practice. You ready for this one? It's being a fan or admiring, scratch the fan, but admiring in someone else that is totally the opposite of me. Opposite mindset, opposite ideas, totally opposite. In other words, if we were put in the same room, we would not even get along. In other words, there wouldn't be hardly any compatible energy other than you breathe and I breathe. What a practice that is.
Okay, so you're saying you're
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, accepting. Go ahead.
Okay, so what you're saying is accepting the person that is exhibiting the exact opposite of so many of your beliefs or your ideas or conceptions. Yeah.
Yeah,
well.
and not only that is the acceptance of them. It's easy to accept someone that when they're like energy, compatible energy, all that. But the practice really is accepting people that I'm not going to invite you to my family picnic because we just don't have anything in common. So that's
right.
That's the real hard practice, and I have to ask for help with that. Hey, universe, how do I accept these morons? Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that out loud. How do I? And the serious question is, how do I accept others, just like the universe accepts the sun shines on the serial killer and the Pope. So how do I accept others without the same beliefs? And I throw that out there, and I let the universe do the how, because that job is ongoing.
Yeah. Well, the way that I see that is just a way of bringing your attention toward something that you believe, something that's something that you believe in. Some part of you, wants you to be aware of kind of where you are in the scheme of that kind of interaction. So I think just to raise your awareness, and be, that is certainly not how I feel, and I'm, they're showing me exactly, why I don't feel that way. And how open am I? And how open am I? Because part of growth is being open. And especially being open to those things that, no, not my cup of tea. And when I say open, it's also, I'm using that acceptance word a lot, but it is an energy to accept, especially people that are so different, and that is not an easy practice. But the other thing I want to say before you slippery leave me. So, what are you a fan of, Robert Sharp? What am I a fan of? Well, when you were describing earlier, kind of like what it would be your very last dime, thing that you would hold on to. I'm just a fan of nature. It sounds corny, but that is truly my. I admire nature. And that's one that I can't see me changing. It only grows with the years. So.
Right. And so that's being a fan of nature, loving nature. I'm talking about you as you looking in the mirror. What are you? Wow. Look at what I've done. Look at how I've grown. Look at how I've changed. Wow. I never would have thought that kind of thing.
Well, I guess now that's a tough one. And I would say that
because why is that tough?
Well, because there's a lot of things that am proud of. A lot of things that I have done and have accomplished, have become, that I think it's pretty good. Always a work in progress, but some years, more progress than others. But it's really hard to nail it down to one thing. I guess I would go back to the reading that I had years ago, and that my purpose was bringing inspiration to Earth. I mean, that's what I did from early on in my corporate world, and what I'm doing now with the podcasting and photography. I mean, each of those is a thread that goes through each of those. So I'm proud of being able to do that in different ways.
Mhm. Being creative with that. Well, you are a creative artist. Very creative, very artistic. Yeah, but that's just an observation, and it's always expanding. Always something new and something different. Yeah, I've always liked that. I've been a fan of yours, darling. A big fan. A long time. Yes. Yes. So I just want to say, thank you again, and you could, and share how people can listen to your podcast.
They can visit the website biteradio.me, BITE radio.me, and I have a calendar of all the shows and it kind of encapsulates. I look at it and it looks kind of cluttered, but I thought maybe that's me, just a little bit cluttered.
Yeah. Now there you go. There you go.
Yeah. See, and that's okay. I enjoy that. So But anyway. So
there you go. Now that's talking about real acceptance of self, acceptance of because you just reminded me of me. Oh, look at what I do and how I do it. Well, that's just how I do it. And a big applause. And thank you again so much for being on the show, Robert. I love when he joins the show. He adds so much with the conversation, with the content, ideas. I just love when Robert joins the show. I want to say again, talking about the fan club, and it is about being a number one fan. It is about self-care. It is about not only caring, and when I say self-care, I mean caring about you. Caring about you, meaning, caring in the way that the universe cares. Embracing you the way the universe embraces you. Acceptance of self the way the universe accepts you, which is no strings attached, doesn't want you to change anything, nothing you should do, only what you're inspired to do. You are more than you even know. And all I can say is just to trust me on that. Trust that. Know that. It is a journey. It is a journey of self-discovery, a journey of ideas, a journey of different perspectives. It is a journey of miracles. It is a journey of it is an indescribable journey without any judgments, yes, right, wrong, good, bad. Life is a journey without judgments. It is an experience without judgments. And that goes all the way to the person looking in the mirror. That goes all the way to you, my dear listener, my dear audience member, all the way. And my point is with today's show, with the fan club show, is be a fan. Be a fan of you. It's about time. It's about time. Talking about the 5 biggest regrets of the dying. How about being your own fan, a true fan, a best friend, being your own best friend? Well, thank you for listening for today's. Thank you for listening to today's show. Reality Spirituality Radio, the truth about happiness, is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website, RebeccaNorrington.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. LinkedIn, my Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a few YouTube videos on YouTube. And this year, trust me, there's going to be some new things happening, different things happening. We'll see what happens. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And my second book, the one I'm writing now, Program for Unhappiness, is going to be out sometime this year. Trust me, it's going to be a big project to finish. I cannot wait. Almost there. I'm really getting close to completion. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always growing. You're always changing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, global happiness specialist and inner peace practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness is a practice skill, and the more you practice in every moment will determine how much happiness you will experience. Thank you for listening. Have a conscious week.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now.